In 1953, the Dominican Republic was a place of ironclad silence. Under the dictatorship of Rafael Trujillo, every word was watched. Every woman was expected to be a domestic ornament. But in the middle of that silence, a voice broke through like a lightning strike. Aída Cartagena Portalatín didn't just write poetry, she built a fortress of independence. She was a black intellectual, an avant-garde rebel, and a woman who dared to stand entirely alone in a world that demanded she belong to a man. Today, we explore the life of the Dominican Republic's most fearless writer. Aída was born in Moca in 1918. Even as a young woman, she was different. While the world around her was deeply conservative, she found her home in the Poesía Sorprendida, the surprised poetry movement. Their philosophy was simple. Poetry should be universal and intimate, not just political propaganda. Being a female intellectual during the Trujillo era was a dangerous tightrope walk. Aída navigated it with a sharp mind and a cold, precise pen. She became the first woman to be a finalist for the prestigious C. Barral Prize, proving that the Dominican voice, and specifically the Dominican female voice, could hold its own on the world stage. But Aída's vision went beyond the shores of her island. She was a global soul. She traveled to Paris, studied at the Louvre, and ventured into West Africa. In a country that often struggled, and still struggles, to embrace its African roots, Aída was a pioneer of the Negritude movement in the Caribbean. She saw the racial struggles of the United States in the 50s and 60s and drew parallels to her own home. She wasn't just interested in pretty verses, she was an anthropologist, eventually directing the Museum of Anthropology in Santo Domingo. For Aída, history was a tool. She used it to dig up the identities that the dictatorship tried to bury. In 1970, she released her magnum opus, Escalera para Electra, a staircase for Electra. This wasn't just a novel, it was a revolution. She took the ancient Greek myth of Electra and transplanted it into the Dominican countryside. By doing this, she showed that the human condition, grief, incest, power, and betrayal, was just as epic in a small Dominican town as it was in ancient Greece. The book was a finalist for the Biblioteca Breve Prize. It cemented her as a master of new narrative. She broke the rules of time, perspective, and language, showing that a woman from Moca could reshape the very structure of the modern novel. Aída Cartagena Portalatín died in 1994, but she never truly left. In a final interview, she was asked about her solitude. She didn't see it as a sadness, she saw it as her power. She chose to be alone so that her voice could belong to no one but herself. Today, her poems are anthems for a new generation of Caribbean feminists. She taught us that you can be rooted in your soil and still reach for the stars. She was the woman who stood alone, and in doing so, she made room for everyone else to follow.